to do what?
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? I am Mike Hughes, aka the Shy Kid. You are back and better than ever. I see all y'all in the chat looking beautiful as ever. I'm here with my guy, the most handsome man in Indiana, Tony Hollinsworth of Inside the Hoosier Mind. I think I have to adjust my camera because if you're watching this on Give Us a Shot or you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook, I don't know why I'm so low. I don't know what this is. I don't know. Give me a second.
I mean, Mike, I am tall, buddy. I mean,
you
I
are,
got to
but,
show
like,
that I'm tall, though.
yeah, but like on camera, I even have to be short on camera. Is crazy. So I had to adjust that a little bit, and maybe for political reasons, it's better that I don't show the name Urlacher, maybe just the number. But I don't want nobody clipping my ear on chat. But
God,
it
2 inches.
It is 2 inches. Crazy. My story of my life, Tony.
I say, yeah, my girl ain't never complained about no 2 inches. I'm just saying.
No, that's really what it is, bro. That's really what it is. So, man, it's a lot of things going on, both politically and both, in the sports world over the last 24 to 48 hours. But let's talk about the biggest news, Tony, because you and I have been talking about it for a while. Caleb Williams, Rome Odunze holding out, not knowing when they're going to sign. You and I were kind of on the same page. It really, if you look at it, they signed earlier than both CJ Stroud and Bryce Young did last year, who I believe Bryce signed on July 21st and CJ signed on July 24th. So, it's a lot earlier. This is today, current day, July 16th, 2024. Rome signed this morning as I was on my way to Burrito House. I got myself ground beef burritos, some cheese quesadillas. I was feeling myself. No tomatoes.
No tomatoes.
Not a fan of tomatoes, brother. I really it's weird because I like ketchup, but I'm not a fan of tomatoes. But
well, to me it's weird because you got like the hot burrito or you got the hot meat. Pause. And then you got like the cold tomatoes that go with it. I'm like, that's a weird contrast, in my opinion. That's why I don't do tomatoes on like my burgers or nothing either. I thought it was weird.
And really quick, just because you had the first pause moment of the night, shout out to Sketch. Shout out to Sketch because I was watching his NCAA videos today, which was incredible, by the way. NCAA 25 doing our thing. Tony's excited about it, college football. I'm trying to convince him to start streaming so he could be a pioneer, so to speak, of this new generation of college football video gaming. But Sketch was playing tonight and he said, welcome to the Sketch party. So like a Diddy party. So I'm rocking with it. I'm here, Sketch. I love it. Own it, brother. We're proud of you. We stand with Sketch. I just want that out there. I want that known, bro, because he's one of the coldest in the game. You can't cancel Sketch. So that's totally dope. And I even texted it to my cousin Kyle. I was like, yo, that was sick. Like that, like he is one of them for real, bro. Like he had Jinxie in a chokehold. Pause. But we saw today, Rome Odunze this morning, $22.7 million fully guaranteed in the fully guaranteed era. As my boy Amin said, with a $13.3 million signing bonus. Obviously, that was going to be the talk of the town tonight for us. But then Caleb Williams immediately signs after that a $39.49 million fully guaranteed deal with a $25.5 million signing bonus. Tony, Caleb Williams, according to Adam Schefter and other reports, were saying that he wanted to wait until Hard Knocks came to Chicago to make this a thing, so that in order they didn't push this narrative throughout all of Hard Knocks that he wasn't going to sign. He wanted to make sure that the second they got here, the deal got done. Obviously, he said he left it to his lawyers, his attorneys, the Bears organization, and obviously the front office. So, where are you at right now as it pertains to the contracts getting done? And just I guess let's call it overhype, the overhypement of, just saying, oh, he wasn't going to sign. Like, what are you going to do at this point if you don't sign? You know what I mean? So it's like, how did you feel about the whole thing?
I wasn't really too worried about it. I'm sure you weren't either. Let's be 100% honest. It's July. This is pretty much the very end of the absolute off season for football, for both professional, for college. So, people are absolutely searching for anything and everything that they can find as far as news goes related to football. Heck, look at I think earlier this month and definitely last month, the biggest story was Aaron Rodgers isn't at a mandatory mini camp because he's in Egypt and whatnot. Like, oh my God, it's the end of the world. Like, people are just searching for stuff. For Caleb and for Rome, this was something that you knew was going to get done. I think for them too, this also kind of gives them a preparation for in the future because again, barring them not having any success, which I think looking at what they were able to do both in college and hopefully how that's going to translate into the NFL, they should be pretty successful. They're going to have to negotiate deals like this when it comes to their second contract or their first true professional contract once their rookie deal finishes. So this wasn't really anything that I was particularly worried about. I do kind of like the way Caleb decided to do that then, and I think that's from his time being at USC and learning how the media works because you had that national spotlight as far as the college football world goes with USC for the last 2 years, you winning the Heisman
Yep.
coming into this last season, and you were projected to potentially win a Heisman again if you could keep that season and that momentum going and whatnot. So this is something that he's used to. I think it was smart for him to wait until Hard Knocks comes into Chicago, gets the deal done, and like you said, the narrative can't be, oh, is he going to sign? Is he going to not? It doesn't create any of this drama. Caleb immediately silences all of that and says, look, this is what it is. I've got it done. We don't have to worry about it. Now we can just focus on football. You guys have your answers that you want because they're going to be poking and prodding. They're going to be
Yeah.
distracting people when they do that. So I think it's a good thing, and I wasn't super worried about it.
Yeah, I mean, and I also think, from that perspective, at the beginning of the year going into 2023, there was the understanding of, hey, Caleb doesn't want to come to Chicago. Caleb doesn't want to
Mhm.
play here. And, not to say that Hard Knocks would do a disservice to the Chicago Bears organization by saying that. But I think they would definitely play devil's advocate in saying, well, maybe there was some truth to it. Why doesn't he want to sign? I could hear the old white guy's voice narrating right now. Is there any reason Caleb Williams hasn't signed the contract? Like, come on, bro. And then you're panning over to him drinking water or some shit like he's on National Geographic, like he's a gazelle in the wild. Like, it's the weird. I love Hard Knocks, but they treat all of them like it's National Geographic, and it's crazy. It's like, wow, we got a 5-star wide receiver right there. Yeah, well, get away from him. Get away from him. He's in a contract dispute. Like, it's crazy, bro.
And if
Like,
you look over there, there's DJ Moore in his natural habitat. Oh, he just missed that first catch, but he's on the prowl. He's about to get a second catch.
There's Tyson Bagent. He's swagging. He's surfing. He's doing his thing. Like, Tyson got that swag to him, but we're going to talk about that in a little while. I look at this contract, man, and there's nothing to say. I think, if this was a different era, I think we're having a lot bigger of a conversation than $25 million fully guaranteed. I mean, and that's just the signing bonus. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the craziest thing. I'm excited about it, man. I think it's going to be really cool to see how the future unfolds for these guys. Can I ask you a question though? Like, again, because I just gave Hard Knock shit, I'm going to play devil's advocate. If the Bears get into an NFC championship or beyond, Caleb Williams is in MVP conversations within the next 2 years, do you think there's a possibility we start having contract negotiations 2 years down the line rather than 3 or 4? Because, obviously we see quarterbacks signing earlier and earlier now, wide receivers signing earlier and earlier now. Usually you wait until that final 4th year, but just like Justin Jefferson, after the 3rd, he was ready to go. He already proved himself, and rightfully so. So do you think there's a shooter's shot that guys like CJ Stroud, guys like Caleb Williams could potentially, after year 2, get that extension a little bit early?
Oh, 100%. Because I mean, like you mentioned with Justin Jefferson at the wide receiver position. If you look at the quarterback position, look at Joe Burrow. I mean, he took him to the Super Bowl his 2nd year in the league, like
really his
full
first
season
year
starting. Yeah. So I mean, and that just kind of gives a testament to not only how good Joe Burrow is, but the potential that you have at quarterback. You look at Jalen Hurts. Now, Jalen Hurts had a little bit of a more rocky path because he had to deal with Carson Wentz and whatnot. The 2nd year, he finally gets a full starting season. He takes them into the playoffs, but then they get beat by Tom Brady and the Bucks. Now, his 3rd year, he's finally able to do it, but then we also see he gets a contract extension. So I do think it's going to be something that's done earlier and earlier. And I will say, from a business and an NFL perspective, I'm not mad about it because you got to remember, if you have a whole group of these guys coming in, which like Caleb is going to, have a whole group of guys that are coming in here because you've got Caleb, you've got JJ, you've got Michael Penix, you've
Jaden
got
Daniels.
Jaden
How did
Daniels.
you? How did you? The
I
college
know.
man
I was like,
himself.
I'm forgetting him.
You mentioned JJ is yeah, I know your hate for JJ runs deep, so he's probably the first
Yes,
person that always comes to mind, and rightfully
always.
so. As, as,
Yes,
as am I, as am I, brother. His
but
first and final championship. But
right.
I didn't mean
And
to, I didn't mean
can't
to interrupt you. I didn't mean to interrupt
unless he goes to Baltimore and he just hands the ball off to Derrick Henry like he did in Michigan. Anyways,
you.
only way you're going to
Yo,
get another chip is with a hard ball.
or are
Um,
you handing it off to Lamar? Hey yo,
Ayo.
hey
But
yo.
no, nonetheless, though, I mean, with all of these guys at quarterback and the fact that they're first round picks, if they have success, that's going to be expectations in the future
Right.
for them is going to be, hey, I need to get that money. I need to get that contract. Let's get this sooner. And whoever is the last person to draw that short straw as far as who they got to sign is going to pay the most money. So I could definitely see a lot of teams if they have success with them at least 2 years in, which I'm going to be honest, if it's me, I don't know how you feel about it, but if it's me, I like to wait until year 3. First year, they're a rookie, they're kind of learning, they're going to make mistakes. People may or may not know what to really expect as far as the transition from their college
Mhm.
days to pro. Second year, okay, you've learned a little bit, you've grown. Are you going to progress? Are you going to regress? What's it going to look like? By the third year, you really have a good idea. Okay, this is what he's really good at. This is what he's not. He still needs to work on this a little bit. He's, miles different from what he was when he first came in the league. Kind of like how we look at Josh Allen. Like first, when he first came in the league, his completion percentage was absolutely terrible. He's turning the ball over. He's doing all this, and he's progressed as he's gotten older and he's been in the league longer and different offensive coordinators. So I could kind of see that. But to me, I wouldn't I wouldn't go any sooner than year 3 if it's
Yeah.
me personally.
Yeah, I like that, and just again to be on the other side of the coin here, I think you also want to understand who's going to be available down the
Yep.
stretch. Like I love Burrow, I love Joe Shiesty. He's one of them for real.
Joe
Um,
Burr.
yeah, but oh man, Tone, did you just become a furry on live, bro? That's crazy
No,
work.
oh no, we
That's
don't do no
crazy work.
furries. We ain't doing no
Hey,
furries. Nah,
hey, Germ, put cat ears on Tone right now. No, I'm playing.
absolutely not.
Hey, imagine crazy work. Go Tigers. Say it for
Go
me.
Tigers.
But no, bro, like availability is so important in this league, and I think we see time and time again, like you kind of find out who guys are, and I
Mhm,
love Joe Burrow, but like the reality of the situation is it's not a Derrick Rose type injury. It seems like every
mhm,
year there's something else that's bothering you, something else that's keeping you out of games, whether that's your ACL, whether that's your foot, your back, whatever.
right.
And to be so young and to be going through those things, like Lamar Jackson. And listen, I am the biggest baby when it comes to stomach viruses. I am not making fun of you whatsoever because I'll be on my hands and knees for 2 to 3 business days. Pause. The sketch party.
What's up,
Um,
brother?
what's up, brother? But I know Lamar Jackson is good for 3 things every season: winning MVP, getting a stomach virus, and hurting his shoulder. And that's what it is. Those 3 things align. And normally, I believe if I'm not mistaken, it goes shoulder, stomach, MVP. Shoulder, stomach, MVP every year.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean I've peeped it for sure. Guys like Lamar, the best ability is availability, but at the end of the day, when he is available, he is one of the best players in this league. But to hold that into account, we understand Caleb holds on to the ball for a very long period of time. So I don't know what that's going to do for his health going into the NFL. Um, and it's gonna be interesting. Excuse me. But I like it. I like it, and I like it a lot for this final point I wanted to make too. Speaking on Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, T. Higgins and company. You have such an issue of the situation between Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, and Jamar Chase with Joe alongside Joe Burrow,
Yep.
trying to pay all of them. And with the Bears, they're in a perfect situation to where when you do have to pay Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze, when they do come knocking on your door, hey, sir, Mr. Poles, 2 MVPs later, I kind of want to have a conversation. Is it
Mhm.
okay? And Ryan's like, the fuck do you want? Like, and he's throwing pencils and what? King Poles don't got time for silly shit like that 2 years in. But I will say this on a more serious and professional note, I think it's a beautiful thing to not have that issue
Mhm.
because Keenan Allen likely won't be on the Bears at that point in time due to age or just not wanting to be here. Who knows where he ends up going at the end of the year.
Right.
DJ Moore is on a team-friendly deal right now. That'll kind of align around the same time, 2025, 2026. So
Mhm.
that could be interesting depending on how much DJ commands. Because if he continues to have success, had a career year with Justin Fields, and Luke Getsy, and Tyson Bagent. So we'll see what he has with Caleb Williams and Shane Waldron. So, I think it's going to be interesting, but I think you still set yourself up in a position to where you can pay the three of them,
Mhm.
both Rome, DJ, and Caleb. So I don't think that being a problem whatsoever. Dylan, appreciate you being in the chat. Appreciate you being here. Allison, everybody else being in here. Greg, appreciate everybody tuning in. We got a lot of people asking questions, though, Tom.
Okay.
Caleb Williams coming into the league. Is he going to be one of the top quarterbacks? I got a better question. Top 5 players in the NFC North today. Rank them.
Today.
You want me to go first so you can hash out that argument we were talking about backstage by yourself?
By all means, good sir.
All right,
by
sir.
myself, that's fine. That's fine.
Not by yourself, but I want
I
you to
know.
get the point across without me interrupting. I want the floor to be yours.
No, you're
So,
good, buddy. You're good.
top 5 players in the NFC North today. I think if you had to rank them, obviously, if you've been watching Receiver on Netflix, it is Picasso. I like it. It's beautiful. Justin Jefferson, number 1 overall. You'd be foolish not to. Number 2, Tony's going to hate it, but Jordan Love. I'm going Jordan Love, number 2. Number 3, the boy from Michigan, the boy who lives from Detroit, Aiden Hutchinson. Got to give him his flowers. Got to give him some love. I've been watching him go after whoever we have in the pocket at all times. He's been phenomenal. Number 4 is an interesting one because I have nothing to base it off of other than pure athleticism and what I've seen in college, but I believe it's going to come into fruition this season. Jahmyr Gibbs. I love Monty. David Montgomery is one of our guys. Thought Bears.
Yeah.
But I do believe in Jahmyr Gibbs in year 2. And I think he's going to be one of those guys that we look down the line and say that could be a huge X factor to what keeps them competitive. Number 5, going with the golden boy, the painted nails himself, Caleb Williams. I don't think it's a question. I think when you have, and this isn't me, again, I said this on the show on Stuff About Sports, when I was talking about the Chicago Sky, I'm not meat riding just because I'm a Bears fan. When you have the number 1 overall pick, I think it's safe to say that we expect amazing things from you. We expect you to be one of the most talented athletic players on the field whenever you're on the field. So it's important that I think Caleb makes this list because I do think he's probably the most talented person on this entire roster. Maybe outside, from a veteran standpoint, I'd say Keenan Allen's probably the most well-rounded player on this roster. Montez Sweat, Jalen Johnson, guys like that, DJ Moore even. But I think that's my list right now. Justin Jefferson at number 1, Jordan Love at number 2, Aiden Hutchinson at number 3, Jahmyr Gibbs at number 4, and Caleb Williams at number 5. Tony Hollinsworth, your top 5 in the NFC North today as it stands, July 16th. Hit me.
Today, right meow. I have number 1 is Justin Jefferson. That one kind of speaks for itself. Aiden Hutchinson is at my number 2. Because he's a great pass rusher. He's been a great pass rusher for Detroit. I think he's really helped come in and kind of change that culture for the Detroit locker room and whatnot. Number 3, I feel like, is one of the most underrated and one of the most disrespected quarterbacks in the NFL as it stands right now. I'm not going to sit here and say he's elite by no means, but I feel like he didn't get the love he deserves.
Oh no,
gentleman by the name of Jared Goff.
Oh my god.
Buddy, he took the Rams to Super Bowl. And he had to meet the buzzsaw that is Bill Belichick, but he took the Lions to the NFC Championship for the first time, like since you and I have been alive.
Yeah.
Since we were twinkles in our daddy's eyes, like the first time he took them there. Number 4, of course, our boy for Da Bears, DJ Moore. And then rookie sensation tight end for the Detroit Lions last year, a gentleman by the name of Sam Laporta. Because I feel like, for a rookie tight end, for everything that he was able to do, for how he just immediately transitioned from Iowa, where he wasn't really used to playing offense at Iowa,
right,
to having to play offense for the Lions, which is probably a whole new thing for him. He's probably super excited. I felt like he did really well.
Do you really quick, because Tony is my college guru, so make sure you're following Inside the Hoosier Mind for all things college football. Can you tell, like, when you talk to other like Detroit Lions fans, who knows what they're talking about and who doesn't? Because I remember this one kid was telling me, he was like, bro, he's a product of Iowa. Any tight end at Iowa is going to turn into a Hall of Famer. And I was like, oh, that's valid. And he was like, dude, he was amazing at tight end in Iowa. And I was like,
I
I don't
mean,
know. I was just kind of, I caught you slipping a little bit, but I let it slide because I don't care that much. I really don't care, but I hate Iowa, so like whatever.
yeah,
But I
for
was just
for
like,
what for what Iowa has as offense, yes,
sure,
he was amazing. But I mean, he and I'll be honest, the only Detroit Lions fan I've ever met and actually talked to is Craig. So I really don't meet
I
and
love
talk to a
Craig.
whole lot,
I
a
love
whole lot of
Craig.
Lions
Craig is
fans.
great.
Craig is our dude. Um, but I mean, if you look at Iowa and the tight ends they've been able to produce, George Kittle came out of
Yeah,
Iowa,
yeah,
also a fan of Dub Bears.
dog. Got
Noah Fant. Now Noah Fant doesn't have, I would say, the numbers that Kittle and
I
Laporta do,
still
but
love Noah Fant a lot.
he's got the production though. Like
Yeah,
he's still solid at tight end.
yeah.
And then Sam Laporta, I think, has the potential to at least put numbers, I would say put numbers equivalent to George Kittle. Now, this is really no disrespect to George Kittle. It's kind of the same thing like we talked about with Joe Burr and Lamar and whatnot, is he's hurt a lot. And
Yeah.
the best ability is availability. And again, he plays so hard and he puts his body on the line all the time. So I can't really
100%.
fault him for what he does, but he's hardly there because of how hard and how much he puts himself out there on the field. So, but I like Sam Laporta. I like what he's able to do. I like what he's been able to put up there. And honestly, for as much grief as Dan Campbell has gotten for some of his first round picks, I know a lot of people hated the Jamar Gibbs pick. A lot of people hated the Jack Campbell pick, also out of Iowa. I thought Sam Laporta was probably one of the more solid picks. And I was like, okay, they do need a tight end since they got rid of TJ Hawkinson. They need that guy to be able to replace him. And I feel like Sam was the dude to do that.
Never understood the T-Hawk trade. I really don't. And I only didn't understand it because of what it made Minnesota have the potential to be. I was like, it just didn't. I understand. One of their wide receivers is too busy going memes next to LAX
Yeah.
while he's under the influence. So that is what it is. But Justin Jefferson, T.J. Hawkinson, with Josh Jacobs, all of them are around 25 years old. Problem. And even Jordan Addison, if you in that same breath, you know what I mean? Even though, man, it's crazy work considering his teammate. And I'm not saying anything negative, but like for that to happen with Jordan Addison following his teammate passing away due to a driver that was under the influence just a couple weeks prior.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just lazy, bro. I mean, you're lazy. This is 2024. Yeah, I mean, I could make the excuse of Uber and Lyft, but brother, you can have a chauffeur. You know what I mean? You could have a limo driver. You could anything other than that. So I don't know. That rubbed me the wrong way. I don't know how that would rub you if you were in that facility, but I definitely I don't like to come at people a certain way because of, off the field issues, especially if it doesn't impact my life or doesn't impact others. But that's one of those ones that could impact a lot of people. So I think,
Yeah.
I don't know, there's a little young ignorance and it happens, Tony always tells me I'm 24, so I'm going to continue to fuck up and I'm going to continue to, have bumps and bruises around the road. But, yeah, not like that. That's crazy work. But I didn't even mean for that to turn into a segment. But
Oh no, you're good. Say, just
yeah,
remember, it's only a mistake if you don't actually learn from it.
exactly.
You learn from failure. If it's a mistake and you don't learn from it, you keep making the same mistake, then it's a mistake. Then it's actually failure.
The bigger one for me is like Josh Jacobs is also in the building as well. So like, you have Josh Jacobs who has a history with this. You have Jordan Addison who now has a history with this. JJ McCarthy who looks like he's never even been to the principal's office. And it's like,
Right.
you got a weird mix of command here. And I think, it's, Justin Jefferson clean as a whistle from what we've seen. Other than that thing I saw on Twitter the other day.
Oh yeah.
Not my business though. Like I said, if it don't negatively impact me or someone else, but interesting. As soon as he
Right.
got paid, interesting.
Right.
That's all I'm saying. But man, we've talked about a lot so far. Obviously Caleb Williams has been the big conversation. I don't know if you've been, on Twitter trying to follow what's going on. I follow my guy, Nick Moriano, does great things, great tweets. We got Adam Schefter and the boys, 670 The Score. My guy Kev Lapka tries to keep me in tune on what's going on. But from what I've heard on 7-on-7s in practices thus far, Caleb Williams has looked incredible. Now on 11-on-11s, Caleb Williams has looked awful. Kevin Byard has looked phenomenal. This defense has been chirping and clapping at them. So I want your opinion, if you have one thus far, of what you've seen from Caleb and what you hope to see from Caleb, not only on Hard Knocks, because we know what that is, but what do you want to
Yeah.
see throughout training camp from Caleb Williams that will give you a better understanding of what you can expect this season?
Yeah. Honestly, it's going to sound weird because we may not necessarily see it. We may not see it on the field as much. We may see it more kind of behind the scenes. They did an interview recently with Mercedes Lewis because Mercedes Lewis kind of talked about that of, hey, what do you want to see from Caleb Williams? Like, what is your expectations for him? And the biggest thing that Mercedes Lewis said that when he comes in, he wants him to listen twice as much as he speaks. So he wants him to come in, listen to what his veteran guys have to say before he says something and really think about it and kind of learn and grow and have that leadership, which I do think is a possibility. I mean, we kind of watched it with USC. I know we kind of debated it earlier on in the year about how he wears his emotions on his sleeve, which we know a lot of quarterbacks do. Baker Mayfield even did an interview about that where he's a very emotional guy. He wears his feelings there and he kind of uses that to his strength. And I kind of hope Caleb is able to do that. But the biggest thing that I really want to see from him is that leadership. How do you respond if you are potentially down by 2 scores maybe, and it's 5 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter and your defense is starting to get a little bit of momentum? Can you rally the Bears to at least tie it to send it to overtime? How do you bounce back from adversity? As far as I think with the 7-on-7 and the 11-on-11, I know earlier in the year when we saw this, he threw like 7 interceptions one practice or something like that. Like it was a ridiculous amount. I think that's a lot more of chemistry, kind of learning. And again, these are guys that he's playing up against professional defense. Like these are guys they've probably seen just about every type of snap. He's a rookie quarterback. He's probably got that real bad adage of he's staring down his receiver as he's doing it because he doesn't have that chemistry built up with him yet. So that's just more of a learning curve. It's practice and whatnot. So if he's doing better on 7-on-7s, I expect that to slowly translate and correlate over to the 11-on-11, and he'll be fine. But to me, the biggest thing is how does he bounce back from adversity? Because we saw in college, if he went down, if he started to get into a little bit of a hole, he really started to struggle. And I know you and I have talked about it as far as how we think the Bears are going to do. That's a very realistic possibility for this Bears team this year. Is you might be a little bit down in the year, so you might have to fight to come back up. And how do you respond to doing that?
Yeah, I mean, and to that point, how do you continue to strive in adversity and try to continue to be the best version of yourself? I mean, this was a Bears team that if the season or if the games ended, if every game of the 2023 season ended at the end of the third quarter, the Bears win over 10 games.
Yep.
That was Connor Burns said that on TikTok, and I was like, I mean, like, what is that? Like, why do I even care? And a lot of people got mad that he pointed that out, but it is a reasonable conversation about how the Bears weren't able to finish. We weren't able to put a good product on the field throughout 4 quarters. That's one of the most important things. All 3 phases of the game. Yeah, that's key, but you also need all 3 phases to be from start to finish. That's how we got to run it. That's why you bring in one of the best punters in America, in the world. Aussie. But that's why you continue to bring back Cairo Santos, who's ranked right now 6th best quarterback or best kicker in the league. Pardon me. Could have seen quarterback play. This was just a few years earlier, but I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens as you kind of led about kind of reading the field and how he's progressed. A problem with Justin Fields, and I think we can all openly admit at this point in time, now that everything's over, is really just being real and saying he wasn't really willing to hit the middle of the field. Justin Fields was always looking for the roll out to the left, roll out to the right, hit your guy in stride, going down, hitting a fade, hitting a post, whatever he's doing. But, guys just sitting at the top. We even saw against the Denver Broncos in that fourth quarter, the game sealing interception from a 5'8", 5'9" safety against a 6'6" Cole Kmet, which, by the way, shout out Cole Kmet, just got engaged.
Congrats to him.
Second ring incoming. Super Bowl or not, I stand by it. But I think it's gonna be. I'm just kidding, Cole. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun to see, how Caleb continues to hit all sides of the field, all points of the field, and I think that's
Mhm.
something he's really had a lot of success in. He's somebody who's going to make great throws. He's somebody who's going to be able to take those risky cuts, risky dives. He's somebody that I think is going to be great, and I'm gonna stop saying somebody because I've said it too much, but it's gonna be cool, man, and I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. Like I said, I love JF1 or JF2. And
Yeah,
I think
JF2 now.
JF2. But not QB2 for too long, I'd imagine. But it's going to be interesting to see the differences in the dynamics in the pocket between Justin Fields and Caleb Williams, and how they're so different, and how they're so less chaotic, I guess you could say. I think that obviously Caleb's more poised in the pocket and he's a little calmer. Does
Mhm.
hold the ball a little bit longer than Justin Fields did, which Justin even held it a hell
A
of a
long
long time.
time.
So
Yeah.
if you hold it even more, that's going to be a problem. But I will say I think Caleb's made good decisions. Now, obviously, he's in the Pac-12, so I'm not going to act like you were going up against some of the greatest to ever do it. Like it's in a league that no longer exists. So I'm not even mad about it. But
Yeah.
I'm excited, man. I'm excited to see him
Yeah.
continue to grow. I like your point though about the growing thing.
Yeah, and
Um,
I
yeah,
do want to add to the Justin Fields thing too,
yeah.
because there's a couple different things I saw on this. One was I actually saw, I don't know if you did or not, there's a workout video between him and my
Jordan
favorite
Love.
quarterback.
Yeah, yeah.
Um
The footwork.
and yeah, you can see it in the footwork. And I think, and I even talked to a TikTok guy that I actually follow. He does a lot of college football streaming, and I mentioned that you told me that I should probably start doing more of it, and he wholeheartedly agreed that I should start streaming more. So maybe that's my sign that I need to do it. But nonetheless,
Create a
he
dynasty. Bring Northwestern to the glory
exactly.
hole.
Let's
Glory
do
hole?
oh glory
Pause.
hole. Whoa, pause.
Sketch.
That's what's up, brother.
Welcome to the
Um,
sketch party. Hello, brother.
I did.
Make sure you hit that like, hit that follow button.
Oh,
Give us a shot network, brother.
I did not have sexual relations with that man. Just kidding, probably. Uh, but he's actually an Ohio State Buckeyes fan. So
So
he watched a lot of Justin Fields when he was in college, and he brought up a really good point that we think that Justin Fields' confidence was honestly broken. Like
yeah,
you came into the Bears team, you had all this talent at Ohio State, and he probably knew that there was going to be a lot of growing pains, there was going to be a lot of hardships that comes with that. But then it was probably just constant. He's having new offensive coordinators in and out that
right.
are probably correcting him, telling him that he's wrong. Now, although he finally got he's got the fans behind him, they're supporting him and loving the organization trades him. I think now that he's going to Pittsburgh, he is technically at the moment QB2 because, more than likely Russ is going to start until the Steelers realize he's
Yeah.
potentially washed, even though if you look at some of the
Russ had
stats
a pretty
wise,
solid year
he was on the same page
statistically.
as Jalen Hurts, and Jalen Hurts is getting called MVP.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
I'm
you
just
even
saying.
kind of like I've had this conversation with myself. When you look at Russell Wilson's production last year, it would be foolish of me to sit up here today and say that Justin Fields had a better season than him. I mean,
Mhm.
we had the conversation all year long about how horrible Russell Wilson was. They got dogged by 70 points, whatever. It was bad
Yeah.
for sure.
Mhm.
But my big thing is really you and I joke about the Jay Cutler era and how many times he told an offensive coordinator to get the fuck out of his face, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
Motz, what was it? Motz? I forgot it.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I forgot dude's name. I forgot how to pronounce it. But Jay was just like, man, what the fuck? Shut the fuck up. Let me
Yeah.
just
What are you
let
what
me
are you
go out there.
doing? I'm not doing this.
Yeah,
We're
I'm
not
not
doing
doing
this.
this. We're not doing this. But I think a lot of Justin's confidence, and if my guy Kevin's still in here, I know my guy Marshawn's in here too. They're big time college football guys. They watched a lot of Justin Fields growing up, like we all did. We're the same age as him, so him, Trevor Lawrence, guys like that, we've watched a long time. The thing
Mhm.
with Justin, I always felt like was the confidence, like you said, but it's definitely something for me to where when you have a guy like Luke Getsy telling you you're wrong, or you
Mhm.
have to do it this way, and this is what we do, this is what we don't do, like and you're just not being used to the best of your ability. I think it pisses you off, and
Mhm.
what fucks me up about the situation for Justin Fields, where I understand Mike Tomlin, and by the way, I have to send you this thing my boy Chach sent me. It's a TikTok of some guy saying that Mike Tomlin's not even a top 15 coach of all time. He's not one of the great ones. I'll send it to you. They dogged this
Wow.
kid. It was a wild. It was immediately shut down. It's actually hilarious.
Oh,
Um,
100%.
but what fucks me up with Justin Fields is, you go from this one point right here, and then now you're going to go straight to Arthur Smith, who was just fired because he didn't utilize Bijan Robinson or Kyle Pitts. And I
Or
understand you have
Drake London.
Desmond Ritter. Yeah,
Yeah.
or Drake London. But at least to that point, Drake kind of saw the ball a little
Yeah.
bit. You know what I mean? But the backup tight ends getting a bunch of tick for no
Yeah.
reason. You got
Tyler Algier was your like number
come
one rusher
on.
over Bijan. Yeah.
Cordell Patterson's getting tick. Like, what are we talking about, bro? Like, how
Yeah.
about them Bears? But I think it's crazy to see Justin Fields go from shitty offensive coordinator to possibly shittier offensive coordinator with a horrible mustache. So I
Yeah.
think it's
I know.
hard, bro. It's hard to wrap your mind around that. I want the best for him. Obviously today, a little bit of breaking news. I guess we can talk about it a little bit. Brandon Ayuk requests a trade.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a likely possibility in my eyes that he does end up in a Pittsburgh Steelers uniform at some point this season.
Ooh,
That's really
Pittsburgh, huh?
that's how I feel about it, because you have George Pickens, you lose Deontay, yeah,
Deontay
Deontay
Johnson to the
Johnson. I
Panthers.
almost said Devontae, but Deontay Johnson. You lose him. Maybe there's a possibility again if you watch the Netflix receiver series, maybe Devontae Adams is also available at some point.
I
Because if you
hope
thought
not.
Jimmy G was bad, brother, I mean Aiden O'Connell, even with, I mean, come on, bro. Like, but it's interesting. I think it's going to be interesting if Justin Fields could get a great. First of all, I'm just going to call him Pat Dog because I do not know how to say Pat's last name, the tight end they have in Pittsburgh. Starts with
Oh,
an F.
Fryermuth.
Firemouth. I don't know. Fireman. I don't know. It's whatever. Like Lil Wayne said,
Like,
Fireman.
yeah.
But I think they have a great room. Obviously, James Daniels, former Chicago Bear, and a solid offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
A phenomenal defense if TJ
Oh,
Watt can stay healthy. I mean, it's
TJ Watt. You got Patrick Queen from Baltimore. You have Minka Fitzpatrick back at free safety. Like, they loaded.
That's
They
some
got Joey
dogs.
Porter last year in the draft. Like,
They
they
still got
were.
Cam too.
Yeah, Cam Hayward. Yep.
Do they have Cam Hayward?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Still
I
do.
didn't because I don't know why I had a dream that he was a free agent, and I don't know if that was a dream or me awake at 3 a.m. So it's like one of those
Yes.
foggy hazes, But
Yes.
yeah, man, I think it'll be interesting for Justin
Well,
Fields. I think it'll be fun.
and I think for Justin too, it'll be kind of nice because it'll honestly be a reset year because it's
Yeah,
one of those. There's no expectations coming in. Now there's a potential that you may have to start in for Russ, but by then, hey, this is
season
Russ's
might be
show. This is
yeah,
Russ's problem. If I come in, there ain't no expectations. Like
right.
and let's be realistic too. Like while George Pickens is no DJ Moore, he's good, and I
He's a
think he has
dog.
potential. He's just still young. We haven't seen a lot of it because he hasn't had a lot of consistent quarterback play. His quarterback has been Kenny Pickett for the entire time he's been in the NFL. I do think now he does have a little bit of those better overall team as far as he's got a good defense that could potentially bail him out if he absolutely needs to. Now he had that with Chicago, but like you and I have talked about, even though I think Pro Football Focus always had them ranked like stupid high with their offensive line, realistically, as you watch it, you're like, this offensive line is not top tier. Y'all need to stop.
Fields goes 16 seconds without being sacked. Well, Justin Fields also ran for 50 fucking yards immediately after the ball was hiked. So
he's running like a 3.5 40 because he's just running for his life. That's why.
It's horrible. It's horrible.
But yeah, I mean, I think going to Pittsburgh, and we know Russ typically stays pretty healthy anyway, so more than likely Russ will be the starter for quite a hot minute. It'll give Justin time to kind of relax, like, hey, I don't have to worry about nothing. I don't really have to do this, and he can kind of reset and kind of figure himself out. And then plus, more than likely he's going to be a free agent at the end of the season anyway. So maybe by then, okay, hey, let me go find out where I want to go to other than Pittsburgh. Maybe some places will to give me a chance, kind of re-sign me. And like you said, hopefully he finds a better offensive coordinator than Luke Getsy, than
Arthur Smith.
than Arthur Smith.
See, but that's the bad part, bro, is because it's like, and I know we were only going to go 40 minutes, but Justin Fields has our heart. Tony and I were actually, we were there on March 16th, 2024. We're not going to talk about what happened on March 16th, 2024, but it was
it was a rough show.
He got me.
I remember when that broke.
Yeah, I was celebrating my heritage and my culture on the best day in Chicago every year, and you got me. You got me good. But I digress. Made up for it, I guess. We'll see. Last conversation I do want to tap in with you with. I thought I was going to say something else, but then March 16th rolled in my head. I forgot. But breakout player of 2024 for you, Tony. Who do you got going into training camp that you're just excited to see going into this season? Now I know, I don't think for anybody watching, this is no disrespect to the Keenan Allens of the
Mhm,
world, but like, coming off a career year, that's not really a breakout. So we're
yeah,
basing it off of guys, younger guys, more
mhm,
typically, or guys who are fitting in the system now, like a Kevin Byard. I can completely
mhm.
understand that it wasn't great in Philly. So if you want to say that, like, and if that was yours, I'm sorry for speaking it. But
Nope, real
whoever you
close
got.
though.
uh,
The other
mhm.
guy that came from Philly, Devondre Swift,
Ooh, okay.
because I'll be honest, when I watched
You
him,
did it
because
again though, by the way.
did I? What is it?
DeAndre.
DeAndre? I don't know why I keep saying Devondre. DeAndre Swift. My bad.
Sorry.
DeAndre Swift.
Like the fifth time, bro. I'm gonna
I
call it
know.
every time.
I'll get it eventually. I mean, like right when the season starts, I may or may not get
Mid-season, we'll be good by the break. We'll be
end of
good
the
by the
season,
break.
man, DeAndre Swift. There it is. It only took you is 18 weeks, but you got it.
The new fans won't know. It's fine.
Right. Um, I like DeAndre Swift, and because I remember watching him in Detroit, and a lot
Mhm.
of people used to kind of hate on him because oh, he's dancing around, he's not really looking for the holes that he needs to look
Right.
at.
He's going to the outside a lot.
Exactly. And my biggest counter to that would be, what has Detroit's offensive line been for the years that DeAndre Swift that was there? It was awful.
Non-existent.
Ask Matt Stafford how many times he got hurt because of that offensive line and because of having to try to extend and make plays. Um, Philly, obviously, last year when he joined with Philly, they had an absolute offensive meltdown with Nick Sirianni, with whoever they had at offensive coordinator. I don't remember who the offensive coordinator was.
Tush Push.
Obviously, he gets the boot, and then they bring in Kellen Moore, which I think personally is a giant mistake, having been a former Dallas Cowboys fan. Huge mistake.
Sure.
Um,
Sure.
but I'm excited to see how he does with the Chicago Bears, because obviously that's going to be something that they're going to have to rely on with Caleb, and I think Caleb would appreciate that too. Of maybe if he is struggling, maybe if he is okay, I can't exactly get some of these passing lanes open, I don't feel comfortable yet. They can rely on a really good running back and a good running game to maybe hopefully open that up, or at least get the offense started and moving. Whereas you didn't really have to worry about that with Philly, because if you were in like 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1, you already knew what was coming next. Like, Jalen Hurts has had more men in his ass than Sketch, or did he? Not pause. Truth. Um, just throwing it out there. Like, I'm really making Mike think right now. Like, tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
Something about you, man. I like
Little,
you.
little
I
sus,
like you.
little sus, my boy. Little
I like
sus.
you. That little Drewski moment. Something about you, man. I like you. Um. Wow. Okay. So that happened.
Broke Mike's
Mm,
brain because Mike's
I
like,
mean,
damn, damn.
he ain't wrong, but he ain't right. You feel me, chat? Like whatever. But yeah, man, my breakout player of 2024 is Tyreek Stevenson. I think Tyreek Stevenson had a phenomenal 2023 rookie season alongside Jalen Johnson, who locked down CB1. We
Yeah.
already know he's one of the best corners in the game. So when you have someone like that alongside you, with Jaquan Brisker back there, with Kevin
Mm-hmm.
Byard back there, it reminds me so much of a Bojack, Eddie Jackson in his prime, ball hawk Eddie, and
Mm-hmm.
Adrian Amos when they were doing their thing. And then you had obviously Kyle Fuller and Bryce Callahan. And Bryce Callahan was
Yep.
really able to flourish because of so many amazing DBs he had in that secondary.
Mm-hmm.
Tyreek Stevenson, in my opinion, was one of the defensive rookie of the year candidates. He had some of the best numbers of any DB rookie wise. And I think it's going to be really exciting to see him continue to grow, continue to develop, and be the best version of himself. I think he reads the ball really well. I think he understands his assignments. I've seen him in times where, whether that's, on the fly or whether that's assigned, he is with one of the best receivers on the other team, whether that's Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, Devontae Adams, whoever. There are spurts to where Tyreek Stevenson does have these responsibilities to be able to go out there and lock them up, and he's done that. And I'm excited to see how he continues to grow in year 2. Like you said, that's kind of when we talk about quarterbacks, you usually wait 2 to 3 years typically
Yeah.
to see guys really come out and ball. Some guys are later bloomers, and that does happen. I'm still waiting for Mitch Trubisky to have his rise to fame.
Hey, still never thrown a pick six. He's the only
never,
quarterback never thrown a
never,
pick six to have like
never.
over so many attempts.
Yeah, yeah.
Not even the GOATs can say that. Tom
Not
Brady,
even the
Patrick
goats.
Mahomes,
Not
Peyton
even the
Manning,
goats.
no one
Nope.
can say that.
Nope.
Mitch
But
can, though.
yeah. Well, we also never won a playoff game, but
We're not getting into specifics. Not
not
specifics.
getting into that. I don't want to do the number game only if it fits my agenda.
Yes.
But yeah, man, Tyreek Stevenson. I like the DeAndre Swift idea. I'm hoping. I mean, that's the beauty of Justin Fields not being there is it really will just be a 1-2 punch between Swift and Herbert. I love Herbert a lot. Or if Roshan Johnson is still
Yeah.
somebody that I have a lot of questions about
Mhm.
because you drafted him for a reason. Now, obviously, you got DeAndre Swift, and that's understandable. But I saw a lot of great plays in the small sample sizes that we saw, especially that Green Bay game.
Mhm.
He really showed you that he could be a Jordan Howard-esque player. He's gonna hit you like thunder
Mhm.
and lightning with Tariq Cohen. By the way, shout out Tariq on the New York
Hey,
Jets,
Tyree. Mhm.
doing his thing. Love to see it. Love to see it. I hope he makes it. I hope he makes it, team, bro. He deserves it. But yeah, that's really what I had, man. I think Tyreek Stevenson's one of those guys who's going to be one of the better defensive backs in the league. I think the Bears could have one of the best tandems, one of the best secondaries in the league as a whole.
Mhm.
But with that being said, man, appreciate you guys tuning in. Appreciate you guys being here. Whether you're watching this on TikTok, make sure you check out Inside the Hoosier Mind. I know we only got 4 people in here already, so I hope everybody already hit that like button, hit that follow button on both ends. You can always check me out on the Shy Kid podcast on Give Us a Shot Network. So make sure you give us a like, give us a follow. You can hit the link tree below where you can find us on all social media platforms. So many other amazing shows, stuff about sports, Protect Our Queens, Corey, Bert, Mike Powers, everybody around the sun. If you're tired of my ugly mug, you can always check out somebody else's. And then obviously you're going to miss me. So you're going to come back. And that's why I have so many amazing people on the show like Tone. We got to make sure people don't just hear me yapping for 45 minutes. So I appreciate everybody being here. Appreciate you guys tuning in. We're going to get out of here in about 2.5 seconds. So until then, man, make sure you give us a shot, give us a follow, check us out on the next one because baby Bears football is right around the corner. And we're
Bears.
better than ever.